The loud slap of a manager's hand against the checkout counter echoed across the supermarket, silencing every conversation in an instant. Shoppers froze with carts half filled. A little girl stopped reaching for candy. An elderly woman clutched a loaf of bread with trembling hands as tears welled in her eyes. Standing behind register 4 was a young single father whose life was about to fall apart, not because he had stolen, lied, or cheated, but because he had chosen kindness over company policy. Within minutes, his employee badge was ripped away, his final paycheck was threatened, and dozens of strangers watched as he walked toward the exit with nothing but heartbreak and dignity. Yet none of them could have imagined that before the sun set that very day, the entire town would witness a miracle no one saw coming. Before we continue, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes kindness still matters, and subscribe to Heartline Stories if you believe good hearts deserve second chances. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this to life. Every weekday morning began long before sunrise for 32-year-old Owen Mercer. While most of the city was still asleep, Owen quietly packed school lunches, braided his 8-year-old daughter Hazel's hair as best as he could, and scribbled tiny encouraging notes that he tucked beside her sandwiches. Since losing his wife to a sudden illness 3 years earlier, he had become both mother and father, carrying responsibilities that seemed far heavier than any one person should bear. Money was always tight. Bills stacked higher every month. Yet Owen never allowed his daughter to see the fear hidden behind his tired smile. To Hazel, her father was simply her hero. After dropping Hazel at school, Owen hurried to Bright Grocery, where he had worked as a cashier for nearly 6 years. Customers knew him by name because he treated everyone with warmth and patience. He remembered birthdays, asked about grandchildren, helped veterans carry heavy groceries, and never rushed elderly shoppers struggling to count their change. His kindness wasn't something he performed. It was simply who he was. That warm Tuesday afternoon, sunlight streamed through the supermarket windows as customers flowed steadily through the checkout lanes. Everything seemed ordinary until an elderly woman slowly pushed her nearly empty shopping cart toward Owen's register. Her name was Eleanor Whitmore, though Owen had never learned it before that day. Her cart contained only a loaf of bread, a carton of eggs, canned soup, oatmeal, milk, and a small bag of apples. It was the kind of purchase that quietly revealed someone stretching every dollar. As Owen scanned each item, Eleanor carefully opened a faded leather purse and counted a handful of worn bills and loose coins. Her fingers shook noticeably. When the register displayed the total, she paused. She counted again. Then once more. Finally, with heartbreaking hesitation, she began removing the apples from the bagging area, followed by the milk. Her shoulders slumped lower with every item she set aside. Owen understood without needing an explanation. He had seen this moment too many times. Without drawing attention to her embarrassment, he quietly scanned his employee discount card and reached into his own wallet. Before Eleanor could protest, he covered the remaining balance himself, smiling as though it were the most ordinary thing in the world. He even slipped the apples back into her bag before handing her the receipt. For a brief moment, Eleanor's eyes filled with grateful tears. She gently squeezed Owen's hand, unable to find words powerful enough to express what that small act of kindness meant. Unfortunately, someone else had been watching. Store manager Vanessa Cole stormed toward register 4 with anger burning across her face. Company rules strictly prohibited employees from applying personal discounts to customer purchases without authorization. In front of dozens of shoppers, she accused Owen of violating store policy, abusing employee privileges, and damaging company profits. Owen calmly tried to explain that he had paid the difference with his own money and had simply wanted to spare an elderly woman unnecessary humiliation. His explanation only seemed to fuel her anger. Within minutes, Vanessa removed his name badge and announced that his employment was terminated immediately. The supermarket grew painfully quiet. Many customers lowered their eyes, unwilling to interfere. Others whispered among themselves. Owen simply gathered his belongings, thanked the co-workers who silently wished him well, and walked toward the exit carrying nothing except the lunchbox Hazel had decorated with colorful stickers years before. That afternoon, Owen sat alone on a park bench wondering how he would explain everything to his daughter. Rent was due in 4 days. His savings account contained less than $70. For the first time since becoming a father alone, he wasn't sure how he would protect the little life depending entirely on him. What Owen didn't know was that several customers had recorded the incident on their phones. By evening, videos of the firing spread rapidly across social media. Millions watched as a gentle cashier lost his job simply because he refused to let an elderly woman go hungry. Comments poured in from strangers around the country. People expressed outrage at the company's decision while praising Owen's compassion. The story traveled faster than anyone expected. Meanwhile, Eleanor sat quietly in her small apartment watching the same video. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the enormous price Owen had paid for helping her. She knew she couldn't remain silent. The following morning, Eleanor arrived at Bright Mart accompanied by someone almost no one recognized, a distinguished businessman in his 60s named Arthur Whitmore, her only son and the founder of one of the state's largest regional grocery suppliers. Arthur had spent decades building a company based on values his late father had taught him: people always came before profits. After hearing every detail from his mother, Arthur contacted Bright Mart's corporate office. Within hours, executives reviewed surveillance footage, interviewed witnesses, and examined the growing public backlash. By late afternoon, the company announced that Owen's termination had been reversed, the manager responsible had been dismissed, and new employee compassion guidelines would immediately be introduced across every store location. But the surprises didn't end there. When Owen was invited back to the supermarket, he expected only an apology. Instead, Arthur personally offered him something completely unexpected: a leadership position overseeing customer care initiatives throughout every store his company supplied. Arthur explained that businesses could always teach people how to operate cash registers, but genuine compassion could never be manufactured. People like Owen were rare, and rare people deserved opportunities that matched their character. The salary nearly doubled Owen's previous income. The benefits included college savings assistance for Hazel. Most importantly, Owen would spend every day helping stores create policies that encouraged kindness instead of punishing it. Months later, Register 4 became something of a local landmark. Customers still remembered the place where one simple act of generosity had changed countless lives. Owen often returned to visit former co-workers, not with bitterness, but with gratitude. Hazel proudly told her classmates that her father hadn't become successful because he followed every rule. He became successful because he never stopped doing what was right. Kindness has a remarkable way of traveling farther than we ever imagine. Sometimes it costs us something in the moment. Sometimes it even appears to leave us with nothing. But true compassion plants seeds that bloom long after the hardest days have passed. Owen never helped Eleanor expecting recognition, rewards, or applause. He simply refused to let another human being suffer when he had the power to help. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with your family and friends, and subscribe to Heartline Stories so more people can discover stories that remind us kindness still exists in this world. Special request: comment below with, "Kindness always finds its way back." Because sometimes, the greatest promotions in life don't come from pleasing a boss, they come from choosing compassion when no one expects it. And on one unforgettable sunny afternoon, a single father proved that a generous heart can never truly be fired.